St Andrews, on the east coast of Scotland, has been a city since medieval times. The cathedral was founded more than 800 years ago, and the university in 1410. You'll see the signature of one of its graduates, James Wilson, on the American Declaration of Independence. St Andrews is also, of course, the home of golf. Young Tom Morris, who in 1870 won the Open for the third successive time, perhaps the greatest St Andrews golfer of them all. Granny Clark's Wynd is the road which runs across the first and 18th holes. This is the scene of the 1970 Open Championship. And there, in the opening below, are the first and 18th holes, stage on which so many golfing dramas have been played, and in the middle, the clubhouse of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St Andrews.
All the Open champions in here. Oh, never mind you got glass.
Bobby? Just once more, please. Thank you. Once more with feeling.
And inside, on the eve of the championship, a great dinner for all living Open champions, of which 17 out of 21 came from all parts of the world.
One day you'll find that you haven't got to worry about missing 3-foot putts, about talking about it at the end of the day.
That's right. Forget. Right.
Keep it well. I can't get this scotch and fall please.
Oh, that's good. I hope I look good.
You take advantage of me all the time, like you do.
I know every time I beat him, he wins the tournament. How about that?
What about the 17? What do you think of it?
Well, it changed it around a bit, hasn't it?
Yes, that shade went away. I think they ruined it.
When I first saw this course, I couldn't make head and tail of it, could you? Well, it's something different. You appreciate it as you play it more often and grow older. That here, more than any other place almost, you have to play terribly accurately, don't you? You certainly do. Like today, in the entire 18 holes, I think the closest I've got the ball to the flag was 15 feet. Yeah. Whereas under conditions, you can knock it almost 15 feet every time. Yeah, particularly in a wind like this. But this is the real golf. This is where it all started. That's right. And all golf courses really are imitations of this one. Very much so. And there's hardly any that measure up anywhere near it.
And this is what he meant. All the umps and hollows so typical of British seaside golf. The old course at St Andrews is unique in that it's the only one in the world which doesn't have separate fairways for separate holes. Simply a strip of golfing ground which you use both going out and coming in, and hence the huge double greens. On the first tee, Fred Daly, who won the Open in '49, that great veteran Gene Sarazen, who in 1933 on this course failed to retain the championship by one stroke. Gene Sarazen. And on the first green, Tommy Horton, who was destined to do so well in this round. And there's a good start for it. 3 at the first. Doug Sanders, also on the first, picking out of the Swilcan Burn. Practically nobody who's played regularly at St Andrews has not been several times in the Swilcan Burn with his second. Sanders, having picked out, now plays 4. Comparatively straightforward par 4 hole at that. And he would like that a little nearer to start the day with. Oh dear, so Sanders starts with a 6. Tommy Horton again, this time on the 15th. There goes another birdie on his way to a 66. And we catch up with Doug Sanders again, this time on the 13th. And there's a beauty which is going to be part of a 68. And pretty good at that, when only a couple of hours or so ago you were picking out of the burn to start with a 6. Jack Nicklaus, always the danger man, and his regular caddy in Britain, Jimmy Dickinson. The pair proved a great and successful partnership. Didn't seem very happy with that one. Here he is again. An iron shot to the 14th. That's the long hole in. Now from the back of the green. And that looks good. And in fact, it's in for a birdie 4 at the long hole for Nicklaus on his way to a 68. Now there are the feet of Palmer. Arnold Palmer. There he is on the 7th. And again, playing up to the 13th. Palmer 5 under at the moment. A magnificent iron shot, one, as it turned out, of many. And that putt rather set the pattern. And now on the 13th, Neil Coles. He's 5 under. Oh, what a shake. And now he pitches up his 3rd to the long 14th, par 5. That's a certain 4 to go 6 under. And on the first tee for the first round, Tony Jackson, holder at this moment of the Open on both sides of the Atlantic. He drives off the first almost exactly as Coles comes up the 18th. Tony Jackson. And as he walks off the tee, he knows that Coles is 7 under. Here he is, completing in 65. Even Coles begins to beam genially, and what a wonderful feeling it must be to walk off the last green at St Andrews in the Open with a 65. .65, and it's a record, and it leads the championship. And out on the course at the 7th, Jacklin is in a bit of trouble after an enormous drive. He started knowing what he had to do. 3, 3, 3, in other words, birdie, 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 and had another at the long 5th. And now here he is in trouble at the 7th, par 4. And that's a tremendous shot. And look at that. There's another obvious birdie coming up there, put in 5 under. Off the 9th, he takes an iron for safety. And now, with a simple second, he needs a 4 for 31. Or in this form, 3 for 30 even. And good Lord, it hits the stick and disappears down the hole. That makes it 29 out for Jacklin. How far past that one would have gone if it hadn't hit the stick, I wouldn't like to say. But we all know just how he feels. Out in 29. What a happy man he must be now. Great moment. Picking a ball out of the hole. 29 for the first 9 at St Andrews in the Open. Here he is at the 10th. Another drive in a pitch hole around what they call the loop, where scores are made or marred. Another very good-looking one, and obviously a chance of another birdie. So it is, and he goes 8 under. Now, the weather begins to turn sour on the championship. And here's Jacklin with his long second to the 14th, the long hole in. He obviously, you can see from his movements there, has pushed that one out. And there it is. A historic shot, as it proved to be. The weather got worse and worse, thunder and lightning, and just look at that, in front of the 18th green. All suddenly in a few minutes, and the committee declared that play should be suspended and those who hadn't finished should start early in the morning. That's how they stand. Jacklin leading, but not in. So they all had to go out there at 7:30 the next morning, the day of the second round, and finish out. And of course, at that time, Jacklin's not the man he was the night before, who'd just gone out in 29 and was 8 under. He'd have had to pick out of the bush in any case, and would almost certainly have taken the 6th. That's only 1 over par at this long hole. Now he has to do it in the early morning and another round to come.
Where are we at, Willie? Ali? Ali?
Calling for his playing partner, Alex Cahill. He hits it out well enough for his 4th, but it's going to be a 6 all the same. And he dropped strokes at the 16th and 17th, which it's fair to suggest he probably wouldn't have done in that form if play had gone on in the normal way. Finishes in 67, but it might have been anything. And now Trevino off the 9th tee. This is the second round proper on the second day. And now he has a simple little flat pitch for his second. Could do with a 3 here. But that's rather an ineffective one and doesn't please him. Trevino, he's 4 under at the moment. He has this putt after the indifferent second to go 5 under. And there he is, and he dances his way off the green. This extrovert Mexican. Now up to the 18th. A very fine chip this time. And he's 8 under as he dances his way off the last green to lead the field. Jack Nicklaus, playing up to the 17th, the famous road hole. But again, not entirely satisfactory to him. 4 under for Nicklaus, and he pitches up. Very, very difficult one indeed. And you've got to have a little bit of luck as well as great skill to get as close as that. That's a 4 at the 17th. There he is pitching up at the 18th, wanting another 4 for a 70. This, in fact, for a 69. And then it goes 69 for Nicklaus. And out on the 7th, Arnold Palmer. 68 for the first round. Quite a good one, up onto the 7th. Gives him a chance of a 3, but he doesn't get it, and that sets the pattern to the rest of Palmer's round. Now in the distance, playing the very difficult second to the road hole, the 17th. A fantastically good shot at that, rolling round towards the flag. That is a magnificent shot and gives him another chance of a 3. And the pattern remains the same, A marvellous iron shot, but the putt doesn't go in. Rather different from Billy Casper on the 4th. In it goes for a 3 from at least 25 yards. Casper had a 71. Something went wrong with one of his fingers. He didn't complain about it, but it may have made a difference to this great player. So we come to the 3rd day. And suitably enough, the weather gets more testing as the championship goes on. It gives them a greater trial. Tall and willowy figure of Harold Henning, South Africa. And as they start the 3rd round, it's Trevino in the lead with 1-3-6, leading by 1 from Jacklin and Nicklaus, and by 3 from Henning, Sanders, Clive Clark, Coles and Horton. Yes, Henning's second shot came up over the Swilken Burn very well. Rather downhill, chance of a 3. And it takes a long time and disappears, putting Henning 6 under. Doug Sanders is on the 16th, trying to save a par 4. And is very pleased indeed to do so. Now he's on the 18th, similar putt, but this time for a birdie. And in goes another for Doug Sanders, and he's 6 under after 3 rounds. And that's the 3rd round, 71 for Doug Sanders. Out on the 14th, the long hole in, Nicklaus plays his 3rd shot up to the green. Proves a good enough one to give him a birdie 4 and make him 5 under. And forward to the 17th, Nicklaus again. He's there in 2, the road hole, most treacherous hole on the course. Very good approach putt. Still 5 under. Now warming up with 3 clubs in his hand. Like a baseball bat, Trevino, the leader. On the right, the Prime Minister, Mr. Edward Heath. On the left, Captain of the Club, Mr. William Whiteclaw. And in the middle, Chairman of the Championship Committee, Mr. Wilbur Muirhead.
Shot, Lee. Great shot.
Trevino leading the field by 1. Jacklin only 1 behind. There's Trevino's 2nd. Flat swing, low through the wind. Shot he learned from Texas.
Well, all we can do, Willie, is play our best. Yeah. Play our best. If it's in the books, it's in the books. If it's not, just take your money and fly back.
Jacklin on the first green, only just over the burn. Long way from the hole. In it goes for a 3. What a wonderful opening for Jacklin. Trevino, a bit intimidated by that one, he could be. But not a bit of it, and they halve the first hole in 3. This is the long 5th. Huge double green, the biggest perhaps in the world. Shared with the 13th hole. And there's another by Trevino. It was everything going his way so far. There's the 16th, alongside the disused railway. The 8 under, this for par. And obviously something put him off there. And he's very dispirited with that one. Drops a stroke at the 16th. He drives over what used to be the old sheds, over the corner at the 17th, the road home.
That was really bad, I'll tell you. If I could have got my hands on that dog, I'd have killed him. And the funny thing about it is the guy standing there, he thinks it's funny. I'm playing for my life out here, you know. This tournament's worth millions to me. And I come here a week early and I work and I work and I work. And that right there I might lose the championship because of that one putt right back there. Because the guy's got his dog out here. I wonder if he bought a ticket.
And so to the 18th. Jacklin 5 under. And Trevino. There are a couple of drives right in the right place. May set them up to a putt for a 3. Now here's Jacklin. Can either pitch it or run it. He runs it through that hollow, the Valley of Sin, as it's called, in front of the green.
Steady.
Beautifully executed shot, and worth seeing perhaps from another angle. So let's now watch it coming up as we sit behind the green. Same shot. And up through the valley.
Steady.
And what a one to finish with for Jacklin. Trevino has the same problem. Do you pitch it or do you run it?
I don't know what I'm going to do.
It all looks so simple, this second shot to the last hole, especially when you've got as close as that in one. Trevino, in fact, doesn't either pitch it or run it. He elects to take a putter. And that's a putt of at least 40 yards. Up through the Valley of Sin, round to the flat.
This thing's got a hand.
Now he has the putt rather downhill, treacherous one this for 3. And it goes again. Trevino 8 under after 3 rounds. His partner congratulates him and prepares to hole out from only a foot or 2. Henry Jacklin 6 under after 3 rounds. And so we start the 4th and presumably final round with Trevino in the lead, 8 under, 2 ahead of Sanders, Nicklaus and Jacklin, and 3 ahead of Oosterhuis and Coles, 4 ahead of Henning. And driving from the first tee, Doug Sanders. Way down over the road and short of the bird. And he's paired last with Trevino. Now on the 5th, Nicklaus, 7 under now. This is the long hole out, the 5th, over 500 yards. There's a good one by Nicklaus. He's played 3 there. Here's his putt for a birdie. As in fact, though he doesn't know it, this to take the lead, and he does, and Nicklaus with that one becomes 8 under and takes the lead. And 2 holes behind. On the third, Sanders, 6 under now, puts for a birdie 3, and gets it. So that's 7 under for Sanders, and just ahead, Nicklaus, 8 under. Now Nicklaus reaches the short edge of the 6th. He's still 8 under and has this to remain so for a par. That slips away in a high wind, and Nicklaus goes back to 7 under, level with Sanders just behind. Now Trevino, that's on the 5th. He's also 7 under. He dropped the shot at the 2nd. And that misses. And he goes back to 6 under. Now Sanders on the 6th. Gives him a chance. By no means dead. Now he's 6 under now. Has this for 7 under. And makes it. This may be Sanders' day. 7 under now. Nicklaus ahead. This is up to the 9th. And very well indeed. So now he has this putt for a birdie. And when it goes, he becomes 7 under to share the lead with Sanders, who's 2 holes behind. Nicklaus with the tee shot at the short 11th, surely one of the great short holes of the world. Wind from the left. And he goes into the bunker known as Strath on the right of the green. Jacklin, 4 under now. Time running out for him. And that's on the back of the green, which not really a putt for a 2. So Nicklaus's caddy looks over the top, and we just see the top of Nicklaus and his club coming out of the Strath bunker. And that turns out a pretty good one, within about 6 feet. Jacklin's caddy holds the flag, and he putts down from the top of the green and quite near. Now Nicklaus putting to get away with a 3 and doesn't quite, so he loses a stroke and goes to 6 under for Nicklaus. Just a tap in, but he loses a stroke. Jacklin, an orthodox par 3, 4 under for Jacklin. Now back to the 9th. The rear of the procession is Trevino, 5 under at this moment. And a pretty good second shot to the 9th. Chance of a 3 here. That shoots by and is missable. And he does in fact miss it, knowing he's done so the moment the putter struck the ball. He walks in a disconsolate fashion off the green. That is the last, I'm afraid, we shall see of Trevino. Now Jacklin up to the long 14th, the scene of his disaster on the first day in the bush. 4 under now. Still with just a chance, but he wants this one very badly. Doesn't get it. As a par 5, remains 4 under, and so Jack Nicklaus is another who's not going to win. Still, he's put up a spirited defence of his title, and who knows but for the bush and the thunderstorm on the first day. So now it does begin to look as though it's between Sanders and Nicklaus. Here's Sanders, 6 under. Waiting to play on the 14th. This is the long hole in. Par 5. That's his third. Very good. Followed by a not so good one. And so he doesn't get a birdie and he stays 6 under. Now here's the big Peter Oosterhuis, one of the prospects of British golf, clipping up to the 18th. Can't expect very much better than that. Oosterhuis had 2 69s in the middle. He may yet feature on the world scene. This little one puts him 1 under for a total of 287, and he finishes joint 6. Nicklaus comes up to the 17th, the road hole. Most difficult shot perhaps on the old course. Brings it beautifully round to the flag there. Gives himself an obvious chance of a 3. Nicklaus has dropped a shot on the 16th, so he's 5 under now. He could desperately do with this one. It always comes in from the road, which means to his left. Just misses there. Nicklaus remains 5 under with 1 to play. And Sanders, just behind him, 6 under. His drive to the 17th. Over the corner. Leaves him with this very difficult second one up to the road hole. It's got a bit of a hook on it. And it goes into that deadly bunker, the road bunker at the 17th. From this, anything may happen. And up in front, Nicklaus has very nearly driven the 18th green, 360 yards. Now he desperately wants to get down in 2 more. 5 under, 1 behind. Perhaps he tried for a 2. At any rate, that's overshot by a long way. And just behind him, at the 17th, there's Sanders in this devilish road bunker. Might get in the road from here and take 8. But there's one of the finest shots in the circumstances that you ever saw. So good, we'll see it again from the other angle. Just watch this one at a moment like this. That's Sanders, 6 under at the 17th. Beginning to wipe his lips now, and the strain is beginning to tell. So he gets away with the par 4. He remains 6 under. Crowd close in as they come to the 18th. And on the 18th, there is Nicklaus trying for his 3. Couldn't get much nearer than that with a putt of that length at such a moment. And Nicklaus now walks wearily to the flag and is sure that he's lost the championship. He's 5 under. Just behind him, Sanders is 6 under and has only to do a 4 at the 18th, which is the easiest hole on the course, to win the championship. So near and yet so far from Nicklaus. Always wanted to win the Open at St. Andrews. 283, 5 under par. They're responsible for getting the correct total for each hole, but not for adding it up. Now, great moment, Sanders from the 18th. Whole world to drive into here. Lee Trevino for the last time. 2 under he is. But our eyes are on Sanders. It's always a tradition, an unspoken tradition, that at the end the crowd goes over the last fairway. Every vantage point is manned for Sanders' great moment of triumph. Walks up onto the green to prospect and back down the valley of sin, which has been the ruin of so many people, back to his ball, tremendous drive. Now he elects to pitch it over. In order to make sure of getting over the valley of sin, he's hit it too hard. And it's 30, even 35 feet past the flag. Trevino pitches up. He's almost on the sidelines now. Now, Sanders, 2 to win, putting rather downhill. Must be up. Mustn't go too far. And he's 3'6" short. And now Trevino, 8 under when he started, 2 under now. There's a consolation prize at the end. Finishes 3 under, and how many hundreds of thousands of dollars would Sanders have given for that one? But he hasn't got that one. He's got this one. The golfer's dream or the golfer's nightmare, just as you like. 3'6", a bit downhill. This for the 8th. He sees a non-existent obstacle, stops to pick it up. Turned out to be a blade of grass. And he's still got just this one. And somehow I knew it would happen before it did happen. There's disaster for Sanders. And so it's a tie. He goes from 6 under to 5 under. And it's a tie between him and his compatriot, Jack Nicklaus. He looks at it again. There's going to be a replay in the morning, and he'll play it 10,000 times over again during the night before they start tomorrow. Unforgettable moment in Sanders' life. A moment ago, on top of the world, he had it in his pocket. Now, tomorrow, he's got to go and replay with Jack Nicklaus. And now, for the 5th round, the field reduced to 2. Sunday morning at St. Andrews. Sanders first, still thinking perhaps of that putt that he missed yesterday, about 40 yards behind him. Jack Nicklaus, more solid and orthodox style. And now here at the 5th, Nicklaus is 2 ahead. This is the long hole out. He gives it an extra belt. Just eases off it a little bit. And it's caught by one of the little bunkers jutting out from the right. All he can do there is to get it out. Sanders 2 behind now. Now this is Nicklaus's 3rd shot with a wooden club. And that's not going to be on the green. Par 5, he's played 3. Two ahead now on the 5th hole. And he's still in the heather in 3, playing 4 now. Might drop a couple of shots. Beautifully hit out. Passes the flag of the 13th, which shares this huge green, and rolls up to within a yard or so of the flag. Later he called it the shot of a lifetime. This for a par 5. And he makes it. The 5th successive par. Now Nicklaus is 4 ahead, playing the 14th, the long hole in, parallel with the one we've just seen, the other direction. Sanders pitching up. It's his 3rd, par 5. Chance to get one back. This for a birdie 4 for Sanders. Just slips in. And now he's only 3 behind. So we come to the 15th. Sanders 2nd. Par 4. And that gives him a chance of another. This for a birdie 3 on the 15th for Sanders. And there it is. And so he's back in the game again, only 2 behind now instead of 4. Nicklaus beginning to look serious. And on the 16th, Nicklaus 2 ahead now, takes an iron for safety from the tee. He's had 15 straight pars. And he wants to get down in 3 more for another. Overshoots. And he misses the one back. And Sanders now only 1 behind with 2 to play. Comes up to the 17th, the most difficult second on the course, the road hole. And it's very lucky as it creeps round the road bunker, leaving him an outside chance of a 3. Very difficult one for Nicklaus to follow. 1 up now, 2 to go. But he plays an absolutely magnificent shot as well. He's got an even better chance of a 3. But in fact, neither of them hold their putts. And so, as they come to the 18th, it's Nicklaus 1 up with 1 to play. Even the chimney pot's manned. Dramatic scene between these two. 358 yards over the oldest stone bridge in Scotland. Sanders seemed rather to fall from it, but in fact, it's a very good one. Right up towards the green, just at the foot. Oh, and he gives that one a tremendous belt. And it goes not only 358 yards, but about another 20, and runs up into the thick, bristly little rough on the bank just at the back of the green. This could be yet another time. This is going to be a very difficult shot for Nicklaus and quite an easy one for Sanders there. Crowd, as always, break the bounds and rush up to stand around the 18th green, as they always do at St Andrews. Sanders first. One down, this hole to play. If only he'd played that sort of shot yesterday, we shouldn't be here today. Very good one indeed. A little longer than the one he missed. Now there's coming up a very difficult shot indeed for Nicklaus. In fact, he can't play it with any really deliberate accuracy. You have to take the club sharply back and then chop down on it in that quite thick grass. Easy to judge the line, very difficult to judge the distance. It's not bad, but we'd like to see it a lot nearer than that. Not quite as far away as Sanders. Only one stroke in it as they begin the putting on the last green. And it's going to be transmitted to millions. So for the final scene, if Nicklaus can hold this, he wins. And he does. The putter goes high in the air and nobody knows where it's coming down. And Nicklaus is the winner. Always wanted to win the Open at St Andrews, and now he has. As an empty timer, Sanders has to hole out for the score and easily holds out a little farther away than where he missed from 24 hours before. Nicklaus, the winner of the 1970 Open. A much slimmer edition of the man who won the Open in 1966. And as he goes up to be presented with the trophy by the captain of the club, one knows exactly how he feels.
Fantastic. How else could I feel? I don't think that I've ever finished on a green. Felt more inside me on a putt than I felt on that one. I had no idea what was going to happen when I finished, and of course I didn't, the way I'd putted all day, I did not expect to make the putt. But I just, I don't know what to say. It's a championship that I've always wanted to win at the old course. If you're going to be a player that's going to be remembered, you must win at St Andrews. As I said earlier in the week, I can't think of a course I'd rather win at, and my wish has come true.
A great moment, not only for the winner, but for his wife, Barbara. And one for the loser. What a gallant recovery. 4 down with 5 to play, 3 down with 4 to play, 2 down with 3 to play, 1 down with 1 to play. And only a great 3 by Nicklaus prevents his tying again. So a fine championship comes to its close. Record crowds of 82,000, beyond question the finest players in the world, a gallant runner-up, and as winner, almost certainly the greatest player of today. And another winner, the old course. It's held its own against all comers, and long may it continue to do so.